Alright, welcome back to the UFC Predictions Tracker channel. And this week's fight night is Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov in Abu Dhabi. For each fight on this card, we will go over the odds for each fighter, how many times they are picked by the Tapology community and the YouTube community, and also how many times they are picked by the best YouTube predictors from the last 2 months. But as always, we'll start with the totals for this event. There are a total of 13 fights on this card, and for now 54 channels have made predictions, and those 54 channels made a total of 649 predictions. So on average each channel made 12 predictions on this card. More predictions will be added over the coming few days once the other channels also make predictions for this card. And those will be shown in the results video, which will be made this Sunday. Okay, let's go over the first fight of the night. The first fight of the night is a middleweight fight between Sedriques, Dumas and Denis Tiuliulin. In odds, Dumas is the favorite with minus 222 in average odds versus Denis, who has plus 180 in average odds. The people on the Tapology community think Dumas is a bigger favorite. He's getting 88% of the picks there, and Denis only gets 12% of the picks. And the prediction channels on YouTube also pick Dumas as the big favorite, and he's picked 42 out of 49 times to win this fight, or 86%. And Denis is only picked 7 times for 14%. The channels that had a 5% plus or higher return of investment over the last 2 months also predict Dumas to win. You can see those channels by the green color in the overview of all the channels that pick a fighter. Light green is 5 to 10% return of investment, and darker green is 10% return of investment and higher. So it looks like the Tapology community and the YouTube predictions channels favor Dumas to win this fight more than the odds makers do. The second fight of the night is between Herbert from England and Rolando Bedoya from Peru in the lightweight division. In odds, Herbert is the favorite with minus 144, and Bedoya gets plus 118 in odds. So in odds, Herbert is a small favorite. 75% of the Tapology community think Herbert will win, by a decision mostly. And from the YouTube prediction channels, Herbert is picked 32 out of 50 times, or 64%, and Rolando Bedoya is picked 18 out of 50 times for 36%. The best predictors over the last 2 months also predict that Herbert wins this fight. 4 out of 6 pick him to win, or 67%, versus Rolando, who only gets 2 out of 6 for 33%. For the third fight of the night, we have a woman fight in the strawweight division between Viktoriia Dudakova from Russia and Sam Hughes from the United States. Dudakova is the favorite with minus 171, and Sam has plus 138 in odds. So in odds it's pretty close, but when you look at the predictions from the Tapology community, there's a big difference there. 93% think that Dudakova will win versus Sam, and Sam only gets 7% of the votes there. Most predict that this fight will end in a decision. And by the YouTube channels, Dudakova is also a favorite. Not as big as by the Tapology community, but still 38 out of 45 predict her to win, or 84%. And Sam gets 7 out of 45. And from the best pickers, 3 out of 5 think Dudakova will win, and 2 out of 5 think Sam will win. Again, it seems that the pickers from YouTube and the Tapology community favor Dudakova a lot more than the odds makers do. Next is a fight between Guram Kutateladze from Georgia and Jordan Vucenic from England in the lightweight division. Guram is the favorite with minus 210 in average odds versus Jordan, who has plus 190 in odds. 70% of the Tapology community think Guram will win via a decision. And 30% Jordan will win, and if he does, most think by submission. 37 out of 44 channels, or 84%, predict that Guram will win versus Jordan, who only has 7 out of 44, or 16% of the picks. And from the best predictors, 4 out of 6 also predict Guram to win, and 2 out of 6 predict that Jordan will win. The fifth fight of the night is a heavyweight fight between Shamil Gaziev from Bahrain and Dontel Maiz from the United States. Gaziev is the favorite with minus 240 versus Dontel, who has plus 193 in average odds. But Gaziev is a big favorite in picks from the Tapology community to win this fight. 89% predict that he will win, and that if he wins, it will be by a KO mostly. And Maiz only get 11% of the picks. But then, Gaziev is even a bigger favorite in picks by the YouTube prediction channels. 47 out of 49 predict that he will win this fight, or 96%. And Maiz only gets 2 out of 49 picks for 4%. And 100% of the best predictors over the last 2 months think that Gaziev will win. The next fight is between Mohammad Yahya from the United Arab Emirates versus Kauê Fernandes from Brazil. Fernandes is a big favorite in odds, and he gets minus 388 in average odds versus Mohammad, who gets plus 287. 74% of the Tapology community predict that Fernandes will win, and if he wins, it will be via a decision. And 26 predict that Yahya will win, also by a decision. 6 out of 47 channels predict that Yahya will win, or 13%, versus Fernandes, who gets 41 out of 47 picks from the YouTube channels, or 87%, and 4 out of 5 from the best prediction channels. So Fernandes is everywhere a big favorite to win this fight. For the last fight on the prelims, we have Alonzo from the United States versus Azamat Murzakanov from Russia in the light heavyweight division. Murzakanov is the favorite in average odds with minus 217 versus Alonzo with plus 176. 84% of the Tapology community predict that Murzakanov will win via KO, and 16% predict that Manifield will win also by KO. From the 50 channels that made a prediction on this fight, 46 think that Murzakanov will win, or 92%, versus Alonzo, who only gets 4 out of 50 picks, or 8%. And 100% of the best predictors over the last 2 months predict Azamat to win as well. The first fight of the night on the main card is between Joel Alvarez from Spain versus Elvis Brenner from Brazil in the lightweight division. Alvarez is the favorite with minus 200 in odds versus Brenner, who has plus 163 in average odds. 58% of the Tapology community predict that Alvarez will win this fight, and half of them think it will be by a decision. And 42% predict Brenner will win, and if he does, it will be by KO. This is the first fight where the predictions from the Tapology community run this close. Now let's see what the YouTube predictors think about this fight. Well, it's even more close in picks. 27 out of 52 predict that Alvarez will win, or 52%. And Brenner gets 25 out of 52 picks, or 48%. So Alvarez is the favorite in odds, but in terms of picks by the Tapology community and the YouTubers, it's a lot closer. The next fight on the main card is Mackenzie Dern from the United States versus Lupita Godinez from Mexico in the strawweight division. And this fight is the closest one in odds of this card. Mackenzie Dern is a small favorite with minus 127 odds versus Lupita, who has plus 105. And also, on the Tapology community, Dern is a small favorite and gets 54% of the picks, and Denis 46% of all the picks. Most think this fight will end via a decision. However, the predictors on YouTube don't think this is a very close fight, and most even think that Lupita Godinez will win this fight. She gets 35 out of 50 picks, or 70% of all the picks. And Mackenzie Dern only gets 15 out of 50 picks, for 30%. And Godinez also gets 4 out of 6 from the best predictors over the last 2 months, and Mackenzie only gets 2 out of 6. So this is the first fight of the night where the YouTube predictors disagree with the Tapology community and the odds makers. The next fight is between Tony Ferguson and Michael Chiesa, both from the United States, in the welterweight division. Tony Ferguson is the biggest underdog of this card with plus 440, and Michael Chiesa is the biggest favorite with minus 634 in average odds. 25% of the Tapology community think Ferguson can win this fight versus 75% that predict Michael will win. And 11 out of 52 or 21% predict that Tony Ferguson will win from the YouTube prediction channels, and 41 out of 52 or 79% predict that Michael will win. But the best predictors over the last 2 months are picking Tony Ferguson 4 out of 7 times or 57%, and 3 out of 7 for Michael. Next is a fight in the bantamweight division between Marlon Vera for Ecuador and Davidson Figueiredo from Brazil. In odds, this is a pretty close match. Marlon gets plus 120 in average odds and Figueiredo gets minus 145. 25% of the Tapology community predict Marlon Vera to win, and 75% predict that Figueiredo will win, and most think this fight will end via a decision. And the prediction channels on YouTube agree kind of. 17 out of 54 predict Marlon Vera to win, or 31%, and 37 out of 54 predict that Figueiredo will win, or 69%. And 5 out of 7 from the best performing YouTube channels over the last 2 months predict Figueiredo will win, or 71%. For the co-main event of the evening, we have a fight in the middleweight division between Shara Magomedov from Russia and Michael Oleksisuk from Poland. Shara Magomedov is the favorite with minus 257 in average odds, and Michael is the underdog with plus 201. 78% of the Tapology community predict that Magomedov will win this fight via a KO or TKO, and 22% predict that Michael will win also by KO or TKO. But the YouTube predictions channels favor Shara Magomedov a lot more. 49 out of 53 channels predict that Shara Magomedov will win, or 92%, and only 4 out of 53 channels predict that Michael will win, or 8%. And 7 out of 7 from the best performing channels over the last 2 months predict Magomedov to win this fight. Then, for the main event of the evening, we have a bantamweight fight between Cory Sandhagen from the United States and Umar Nurmagomedov from Russia. Umar Nurmagomedov is a pretty big favorite in average odds with minus 319 odds, and Sandhagen is the underdog with plus 247. But the Tapology community don't think Umar Nurmagomedov should be such a big favorite. He is a small favorite with 55% of the picks, and Sandhagen is a small underdog with 45% of the total picks. But the YouTube prediction channels think a lot different than the Tapology community. Umar Nurmagomedov is a big favorite there, and he's getting 43 out of 54 of the picks for 80% total. And Cory Sandhagen is only picked 11 out of 54 times, or 20%. And the best performing YouTube channels predict Umar Nurmagomedov to win 100% of the time. And for the last part of this video, we will look which channels pick the favorite the most and which channels pick the underdogs the most. Which channels pick the favorite fighter in odds the most. In third place we have MMA Leaked. He picked the favorite fighter 10 out of 11 times or 90.9%. In second place is Money Moicano. He chose the favorite fighter 11 out of 12 times or 91.7%. And in first place we have these 8 channels who picked the favorite 12 out of 13 times or 92.3% of the time. And which channels love the underdogs the most this week? We will start with 5th place, where we have these 7 channels who picked the underdog 5 out of 13 times or 38.5%. In 4th place is Josh Emmett. He made 5 predictions this week and he chose the underdog 2 times for 40%. In 3rd place we have Kunat. He chose the underdog 6 times out of his 13 picks for 46.2%. In 2nd place we have Paul from the Dog or Pass podcast on the Mayo Media Network on YouTube. He picked the underdog 50% of the time, or 5 out of 10 times. And his co-host Cory picked the underdog 7 times out of 13, for 53.8%. That was it for this preview video. Hope you all enjoyed the content and found it helpful and informative. If you did, then don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you this Sunday for the review video.